All right, so just to build off yesterday, we've got solve by factoring today. And key with solve by factoring is you need to have your equation with a standard form quadratic on one side and then equal to 0 on the other side. So this one is good to go. A is not 1, but there's no GCF here either, so we're really just going to jump right into AC factoring. So my AC in this case, if I multiply those, is negative 21. And the factors of negative 21 that'll add to 20 are going to have to be 21 and negative 1. So at this point, we can rewrite this middle term like so. And then we get into our factoring by grouping. So we group our first two and our last two, and we pull out their GCFs. So in this case, this is going to be 3n. Leaves us with n plus 7. GCF here is going to just be a negative 1. Also leaves us with n plus 7. Sweet. So as we're working our way to getting this completely factored, remember the GCFs make up one factor, and the common part makes up the other factor. All right, so now we are factored, but we haven't solved it yet. So if the problem just said to factor, then you'd be done. You'd be like, yep, there's a factored form, I'm all set. But this says solve, so now we want to say what numbers will make each of these parts equal 0. So this one's easy. This is just going to be, negative 7 would make that part equal 0, because negative 7 plus 7 is 0. Over here, you can do one of two things. You can either just look at it and be like, all right, I would need this to be a 1, because then I'd minus 1 and get 0. So the way I'd get a 1 here is if this was a 1/3. Because a third of 3 is 1, minus 1 is 0. If that's tough for you to do, if it's hard to just look at it, there's a couple other options. One is just the shortcut, which is it's always going to be the opposite of this number, so positive 1, over this number, 1/3. That shortcut actually always works, and that's personally how I usually do it. The other option, which is just kind of the go ahead always works, is just take whatever expression you have and set it equal to 0. And now if you just go through your little algebra steps to solve this, add the 1 to the other side, divide by 3, you get n is 1/3. So you get the same thing. So a bunch of ways you can figure out that solution. Okay, so now we jump over to here. And once again, the problem with this one is it's not in standard form. So we're going to need to move these two parts over. So I'm going to keep my x squared where it is. I'm going to add the 2x over. I'm going to subtract the 15 over. So now I'll have 0 on this side. And then this is an easy factoring because a is 1. So we just say c is negative 15, and you want the factors that add to 2. So as we think of our factors, 5 and negative 3 is going to be what works. And because a is 1, these just are the factors. So we say it's going to be x plus 5, x minus 3. So again, you only need to do this grouping method when a is not 1. If a is 1, then these just are the factors. So this would be the factored form, but we want the solutions. So what's going to make each part equal 0? So negative 5 would make this part equal 0, and positive 3 would make this part equal 0. Again, with all this stuff, there's nice little checks you can do. If I want to check any of these, one way you can do it is graph it. Because if you graph it, you're going to see, 3x squared plus 20x minus 7. So if we type this in, it should cross at these two spots. So it's a real quick visual check here, in my opinion. You're like, yep, that looks like negative 7. 1/3 looks reasonable there. Perfect. Answer looks great. You could also check it by just substituting the number in. If you want to put in 1/3, so 1/3 to the second power plus 20 times 1/3, and then minus 7, this should equal 0. And it does. So a bunch of ways you can check your answers, make sure that things are right and working out. Keep all that in mind, and you should be doing pretty solid with this stuff.